Hi, and welcome back to the One More Book podcast. My name is Florence, and I am back with a February reading wrap up. So, February came and went, and it was Black History Month. And looking back, I just did a social media post on Instagram. You can have a look. I have everything linked down below. You can go have a look. As I was going through my photos, because I wanted to see what did I do in February, I realized just how much I did. I did absolutely too much in February. February, as always, was Black History Month. And as always, we had so many amazing events here in Hamburg. And I made sure to attend a lot of them. But I realized at the end of the month, I think it was either on the 28th or the 1st, I absolutely crashed. I could not do anything. I was so tired. And it reminded me of the myth of Icarus, who, got his wings. The wings were, I think, attached with wax, and he flew too close to the sun. And I felt like I was Icarus. I flew too close to the sun, and I think I couldn't do anything. So I think the first few days of March, I was seeing everyone posting their recaps and talking about the books that they had read. I could not do anything. I could not respond. I was just done. I could not socialize. I just needed a break. And I took a break, and I am back now feeling a bit more refreshed and inspired. So these days, I just know if I don't have the energy, if I don't feel inspired to do anything, I just don't. So what I did is I went deep into reading. And in the time, I think in the last few days, I've read 2 books that I loved. And I'm happy that I've already started going down my March TBR. So yay for me. But it's a learning lesson that, if I do too much, my body tells me no, my mind tells me no, my creativity just dies off. So now I know. So back to what I read in February. I hope everyone is okay. The world is on fire, but is there anything new? I just hope wherever you are that you are okay. I am okay. February was I would say a good reading month. I experienced a reading slump, but somehow managed to get out of it because I just let go and it came back. My love, my need to read just came back on its own, and things picked up. So I cannot complain. February was a good month. I read a total of 6 books, and 1 book I read an excerpt because we are going through the whole book. So we read like an author every month. So I will include it, but I don't count it as a book because I did not read the whole book. Let me know, of course, in the comment section which of these books you've read. How was your reading month? How is your reading in the second month of the year? How are you doing? Just let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. So the first book that I read is There is Confusion by Jessie Redmon Fauset, and this book was first published in 1926, I believe. She is known as the midwife of the Harlem Renaissance literature, as she was named by Langston Hughes. I came to know about her as I read the Harlem Rhapsody. I actually did a buddy read with a friend of mine last year. End of the year, we read Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Murray Christopher. An amazing book, and that's the main character in that book was Jessie Redmon Fauset. And of course, after falling in love with her, we decided to pick her book and do a buddy read in February. So we read this. To me, this is a new author. Everything was new to me, but I absolutely loved the way she wrote. She wrote about these characters living in Harlem, experiencing discrimination, racism, and of course prejudice from their own families. But they live a full life. This is a middle-class family. But of course, there were other characters. I would say there were three main characters. Joanna, who is born in a middle class family, the dad is doing well. She grows up well loved, and her hobbies, she's encouraged to follow her hobbies. She's a dancer and would love to one day dance on big stages. Then we meet Peter, her classmate, who is not from a well off family at all. Actually, Peter's parents are struggling, and he has this prejudice in his lifeline because of what his father and his grandfather experienced. So he takes it in with him, but he has this dream of becoming a surgeon. And then there is Maggie. Maggie is the third character, who is born in a very low class family, and she struggles. She knows that this is not the life for her, and she seeks to find another life in any way possible. So we follow these three characters as they are living their lives, their dreams, their hopes, their ambitions, competition, how they mingle with each other. It was done so well. She cared for her characters. She wrote their stories with so much care and compassion, and this character development is so well done. It is a book that something that you rarely read, especially from the 1920s. It felt so modern, but you still could relate to it in as much as it was written in the 1920s. I absolutely love this book, and I think even just doing the buddy read and talking about it every day made it even more special. And this will not be the last book by her that I am reading. She was absolutely, absolutely talented. Highly recommend this. I believe I gave it a 4, probably a 5-star. I loved this book. I really did. Another book that I read is Anchored Stitches, a collection of poems by Rutendo Shikaya. So like I think I said in the previous video, I met Rutendo when I was in Lagos for the Ake Arts and Book Festival. I will link the vlog here so you can watch it. And she's an amazing author. She's Zimbabwean. And she asked me if her publisher could send me a copy of her book. Thank you so much, Rutendo, for sending me this. I love this. It is a very strong debut collection of poems that encompasses several themes that are past and present, especially if you have lived in an African country or you are of African descent. You will relate to a lot of things that Rutendo writes about here. I felt an anger, the presence of an anger, of grief, of loss, of sisterhood, of remembrance. So many themes that we all know about are touched on in this book. Economic strife, the lies that our politicians tell us, the sisterhood that will eventually definitely save us, the burning of our capes as women, because we are always trying to rescue people. We are the super women. I felt like there was an appeal for us to just stop, and of course not sit in silence when we are being harmed. Shout and say no and fight back. It is a very revolutionary act in a small way when you read this book. I absolutely enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope that more people should read it. And I hope to read more from Rutendo. She's very, very talented. The next book that I read that I do not have a copy of, unfortunately, is Cast Daughters by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I borrowed my copy from the library, had to bring it back because it is a book that is very on demand, so you only get a week. And I am very surprised because I read it very, very fast. It was a book club pick. I think we have the discussion this week on Sunday. I do not understand why this book is so hyped. I failed to love it. Unfortunately, it just wasn't for me. I found the theme interesting. It basically is about a curse, very, in my opinion, misogynistic curse that hangs over generations of a particular family, and it hangs over the women. So because of this curse, they will never know love, or they will never be in a relationship. And it prevented them from achieving what they wanted or going for what they wanted. And exactly what is the synopsis of the book is exactly what is in the book. We just follow these women as they are going through life, experiencing these curse. So you kind of wonder if they are living life according to the curse and not the curse happening to them. Like if you already cursed, it kind of lights your path as you go through life, because you know that this is supposed to happen to me. So you just, it's like someone has already done footprints for you, so you just follow them. And I just felt like there was more that could come out from the story. I didn't necessarily like the characters. Like there was none of them who like pulled me. So story-wise, I was disappointed. Character-wise, I was disappointed. I wish there was something. I wish that one of the characters would have just said, you know what? I don't care. I don't need a partner. I am fine on my own. Or even just one would have said, if the cast follows relationships between us and men, then what if I get together with a woman? I mean, or someone who is not a man, a non-binary character. I mean, I just think there was much that could be done. It was just what was written is, like this is it. This is the storyline and this is how it goes. I just needed more. From my fictional, I feel like in fiction you can write whatever you want. And I just felt like there wasn't much imagination in this. So unfortunately, this one wasn't for me. Then I read The Pala Wife by Foluso Agbaje, and this copy I bought in Nigeria when I was in Nigeria, and this was also another book club pick. So in this book, we follow Kehinde. Kehinde is part of a twin set. She has a brother called Taiwo, and I believe it is around the 1930s in Lagos, Nigeria, just at the brink of the World War II, I believe. And which, of course, as a British colony, Nigeria was, of course, affected because the colonial government decided to pick up men to go and fight in this fight that is not even part. Like, it's none of their business. It's like they shouldn't even be there, but of course, colonialism. So we follow this young girl. She just turning 18. Something happens and she's married off to this man as the third wife. Of course, that's where I was disappointed. This is supposed to be a historical fictional book. There was some history that came up in the book. Like, for example, there's a women's organization, the Lagos Market Women Organization, who actually protested and rioted against taxes that were placed on them by the colonialists. So that is something that is in history that I never knew about. I think there was also tidbits that were in there, like the Brazilian quarter. There was that I also didn't know about. So I appreciated the few historical historical happenings that were mentioned in this book, but I just wish there was more. It was very lightly done, and I didn't like Kehinde. She's portrayed to be this like a rebel, a fighter. I did not see any fight in her. I saw a damsel in distress who was actually following other people. She did not lead anything. She actually kept on being pushed. There were no leadership qualities in her, no rebel, nothing. She was just, I didn't see that. I didn't connect with her. I didn't connect with the story. I wished there was more. I was disappointed in this, but yeah. That happens. It's not for everyone. This wasn't for me. Then I read Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. This I absolutely loved. I remember reading Honey and Spice, the prequel, when it came out, I think when we were all locked up at home. I loved Honey and Spice. It was fun. It was young, but it was a fun read. So when this came out, when I was in Nigeria, I saw it and I got it. She was there, so I have a signed copy. Because actually, I do not buy physical copies of romance books. I usually just listen to the audiobooks because I tend not to reread romance books. But of course, this was an exception. So I always keep romance books, especially when I'm in a reading slump. It's what I reached for. And this is exactly what I needed. Really, really helped me get out of my reading slump. In this book, we followed the same couple, Malachi and Kiki, and now they are adults. I think they were in their late 20s or maybe early 30s. And now they're doing adult things. They're paying bills, they're working, they've had other relationships. Actually, they broke up. So it's a second chance romance. I appreciated the growth in the characters, which signified the growth in the author. You could see the growth in her writing. There was less banter. I think in the first book, there was so much banter. So much, especially between the friends. This was a bit more level, like they had more adult topics. They talked about adult things. They did adult things. So it was quite a fun read. I think it could have been shorter. There were some instances that I felt were a bit too much, like kept on dragging for long. But all in all, it was a fun read, something that I needed. It's just, if you're looking for something light and fun, this is it. It's not like, it's nothing deep, like really, really nothing deep. It's just a fun read, especially going into summer. This is something that I would carry if I'm going on a holiday or something. Or maybe if I'm just sitting at the park or at the beach, this would be a good read. Another book that I read, I try and read children's book whenever I can. So I read this. This is Written in the Stars by Pauli Kapotieno, authored by Melissa Wahu, illustrated by Matthew Omolo. And Pauli Kapotieno is one of the members of Sauti Sol. So I got this when he came to Germany for a book reading. We actually hosted him for a book reading, and he read this. So I got this for my kids, but I have a big collection of children's books. So this is the one I chose. It's quite simple. It's about him when he had his son, and how he decided on what to name his son. I found it cute. Like it's a children's book. It's supposed to do what children's books do. And I love that the characters are the members of his band, his group. So they are all in there, which is very cute. And they are represented as animals. So different animals. Very, very cute. I love the drawings. The illustrations are absolutely, absolutely beautiful. As you can see, very, very colorful. So beautiful. Yeah, so it's just a simple children's book, very cute, very cutesy, and very fun. So I enjoyed reading this. And last but not least, no, I did not read the whole book. Like I said, we read excerpts from this book together with Hadija of Reading Africana Book Club. So we read an excerpt from the book. I will not say it in French because I will butcher it, but it's from a trilogy of 3 books, and they're called Love, Anger, and Madness by a Haitian author called Marie Chauvet. So we read an excerpt from that book, from one of the books, the novellas, and we read that was from Love. It's a very short, I think it was like, 2.5 pages, but there's so much in it. It made me go into like a deep dive, like researching about who Marie Chauvet was and what is it about this book that is so interesting. And we see a woman who, despite being born into a well-off family, I believe her father was a scholar or something, but she still felt like what was happening in Haiti at this time was not normal, because that was back then when the US was still have had control over Haiti. And still you could, like, there was already oppression of the citizens, but also on top of that, women were also being oppressed. So she addresses that through a story of this older woman. She's not old, but because she isn't married yet and her younger sisters are married, she's like a spinster. So she is watching things happening through her window, but she's also watching what is happening around her. And like, what is the definition of love? What does it mean to love? And how she views the world at this time, how she looks at her countrymates and what is going on, and the class wars, because there are different classes in this country, the struggles that the different classes have, especially the ones at the bottom. It was very interesting. It made me want to read more from her. I'm trying to find the book in full. It's not so easy to find, but I would really, really love to read the book as a whole, just to find out more about her work, which sounded very, very fascinating. So those are the books that I read in February, completed reading in February. There are some that I started but I didn't finish, so they are postponed into March. My current read is this. This is a German book. It's called Stimmen aus der Stille, which means Voices from the Silence, by Yaya Eko. And he is a Mauritanian author. So this is a nonfiction book, a collection of short, let's just say, essays or maybe stories as told by women in Mauritania, because the author is living in exile here in Germany. So he has an organization that supports people who are not oppressed, who are being chased. How do you say it? I am losing so many words. People who are escaping or running, fearing for their lives, especially from Mauritania. So he collected stories from women. So I think I'm almost halfway. It's very sad, but very, very much needed. I think I'll finish it today and I'll talk about it at the end of the month. I also finished reading Sula, which I absolutely, absolutely loved. I will also talk about it at some point this month. I loved Sula. And it's actually, I read it together with a book club, and it's also our book club pick for February. So we'll talk about it in March when we meet. And I also listened to the new book by Sadika Johnson. It's called The Lost Children. Something like that. About these, the brown babies who were adopted, the children of soldiers and German women, soldiers who were stationed in Germany, American soldiers who were stationed in Germany, and the children. So it's a historical fictional book. Absolutely, absolutely loved listening to it. But of course, like I said, I'm trying to watch out about which books I buy. So any new book, I think I will just continue with the same trend and listen to it instead of buying it, because I have enough books as it is. Yeah, so those are the books that I read in February. I will come back and do another video of the books that I want to read in March. March is Women History Month. We already have our book club pick. I already received it. It's not about the book, but I have other books which I'm reading with other book clubs that I haven't even ordered yet or even looked for. So I will come back probably soon with my TBR for March. But so far, so good. I am already on my third book and makes me really, really happy. So that's it for today. I hope that I inspired you to keep on reading or pick a book, whichever way. And let me know what you read in February and what you're looking forward to reading in March. And yeah, I hope that all is well wherever you are. Take care. And I will leave you with these two videos. So check them out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, always keep reading.